in a brief way, explain what is worship.
Whoa, a brief way. Sign up for my 4-month school of worship. I don't have a school of worship, but we have one at Face to Face, which absolutely transformed my life. Just unintentional plug, but since you said briefly about worship. Oh, wow, okay. Worship can be defined as a lot of different things. There's so much to it, but I go back always to what Jesus said to in John 4, yeah.
John 4:24.
And he said the Father is seeking worshippers who will worship him in spirit and truth. And I was just thinking about it this morning, and I realized all the more, right? Like this person, she says, you worship God on that mountain and we worship God on this mountain, right? And then Jesus says, the Father. And then we know Heavenly Father. We have been introduced to that concept. But at that point, she would have been like, whose Father? What are you talking about? Right? And I find that to be a really significant thing that Jesus demonstrated. He had a living, beautiful relationship with his Father. And he said, everything that I'm doing is because I see my Father doing it and I hear my Father saying it. And I only speak what I hear him say and I do what I see him do. And I think that is the truest expression of worship, where you are looking at God and you are beholding him. There is nothing separating you from God, because Jesus has literally turned it upside down, right? Our whole relationship with God. Jesus did that. He finished it on the cross. And because of that, we have this unhindered communion with God. And so that's what worship is, to look at God, to relate with him, to commune with him, and to live out your life from that place in spirit and truth. So I think that's what worship is, at least.
Because a lot of people think that when it comes to worship, it's like the slow songs that we have in the praise and worship part, right? Because the fast songs are called praise.
Correct.
I think I was speaking about this with Derek long ago, about 2 years ago, and I said, "Is that the difference?" I mean, he said that's the worst experience.
You did a series on worship.
Yeah, I did a series on worship, so I didn't want to repeat the same segments. But then that's something that people need to be reminded.
That's true.
That it's not just about the song; it's an expression. Like from your heart, what is your act of worship? What is your expression of worship?
Yeah.
Last week I was ministering in a Methodist church for the first time, and they asked me to speak from the lady in Bethany. She came and poured up a perfume, right? And most of the time the focus is on the fact that she spent so much of money. But then the Lord gave me this revelation that in John, it actually says John 12 that this was the main person who complained was Judas.
Yeah.
And then you realize then the revelation that came to me was, he was not complaining about so much of money that was spent, because if she had given in the form of cash, he would have been the happiest person. Why? Because he can steal more money.
Correct. Yeah.
So the reason he complained was because it was in the form of perfume. He couldn't take any part of it.
Jesus.
He couldn't take any part of it. It was something very personal between she and Jesus.
Yeah.
So if you give something just because everybody's singing and you sing, that's may or may not be actual worship.
That's
because
so
you're
good.
giving in the form of cash, because everybody is giving in the form of cash.
Wow.
But can you have your own personal expression of worship?
That's really good. Wow, that's so good. Yeah.
That's the thing. So for me, it can be something very different from somebody else. I can't relate personally. I can't relate through songs.
Yeah.
For me, I can. You'll leave me. I'll be jumping, dancing. That's my form of worship. So have your own essence of worship. Have your own expression of worship, and that is what will make it from your heart.